Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. I've got something on the table that makes me really happy, and they're available, which is even better. This is the Duane Dwyer BBNM, as made by North Mountain Blade. Now, I know you've seen these before. I have a couple others, but this one, well, this one is fantastic. Now, I did put MXG deep carry clip on it. I don't like the standard Strider or Dwyer clips. I don't like them. Also, this is frag pattern tie on both sides, and the standard clip was tight enough that just turned this frag pattern into sandpaper. It was brutal. This is a little softer, so you get a better carry. These are $380, and this one is DLC coated 3V. It is hollow ground. It's just fantastic. This is an excellent knife. Now, $380 is not an insignificant amount of money. I understand that. However, if you get yourself a Strider that is the same size, which is the S&G, these are $800 and up. So this is an affordable version of this. Now I can hear some of you, well, that's the same knife. Yeah, the Strider design is a shared design between Mick Strider and Duane Dwyer. He owns this. So if he wants to have other people make, you can see the tail's a little different. This is the Dwyer shape. This is the Strider shape. The blade obviously belongs to Dwyer because he's doing it. So there's that. I've always liked this shape of knife. Long before I could afford such a thing, whatever, I had had a chance to hold one. For me, this really works. Now, not everybody loves it, and I get that, but I do. I'm going to put this one away. I've got a couple others. I have the Tanto, and this is their SLD Magic, which I really like. The SLD Magic is not hollow, right? It's just a flat grind, or not a flat grind, but it's just a standard grind. SLD Magic is really interesting blade steel choice. As you can see, it's a Sanmai, right? You can see that line. But these are amazing. And right now on their website, for the first time since they've started making them, they have everything. It's all available. You can get the carbon fiber. You can get their snow, what do they call it? Snow blue and white ceramic carbon fiber, which is a really cool look. You can get frag pattern and full tie. I don't know if they have any of the, let me see if they've got the, no, they had some, I think, that were micarta for a little while, but they don't seem to have those anymore. This is a genius marketing move on Dwyer's part, and I hope it's successful for him. I don't know the guy personally, and I don't care, but one of the things about the Strider look is that it's very particular. Nobody else can do it except Dwyer, and most people, this is so outside the realm of affordability that it's ridiculous. These are made better. They are, well, anyway, I really like this knife, can you tell? And so I had told myself that I was going to pick one up in the Tanto edition, and I did. I had a drop point with this carbon fiber originally, but when I saw they were doing full tie, I said, yep. So I sold that and picked this up. This one's $320. This is $320. This is $380. I sold some stuff at a recent knife club that I belong to and turned around and spent that money on these. If they ever make an SMF size version of these, I will be all over that. So let's take a look at what you get for your $380. First and foremost, you get a really beautiful 3V blade done in a really nice DLC. It's shiny without being mirror, so it's fingerprinty but not ridiculous. I know Metal Complex really likes mirror DLC. I prefer this sort of more user DLC. I've used this thing a ton, and it shows no marks, so the DLC is done right. You get this fantastic frag pattern titanium. Now, these aren't milled on the inside, so they're a little heavier than they otherwise might be, but that's not too bad. The MXG clips are about 30 bucks. You don't have to do it, but I recommend it for this knife. It's got the all blacked out hardware, including the over travel stop. The one thing these don't do is this has a, let me see what this does. Stand by a sec. Yeah, it does. The one thing these don't do that the Striders do is cost too much. Sorry. I mean, that's just the truth of it. You get a ton of knife for, look, I get it, $400 is a lot of money, but if you hold the $400 up against, right, it stops being a lot of money and starts being incredibly reasonable. Also, I love SLD Magic as a blade steel. I just think it's cool and interesting, and I love the hamon that you get on the Sanmai. Right, it's even more evident here on the Tanto. These are great knives. Look, I don't know North Mountain Blade. They're not sending me shit for free. I pay for all this one way or another, usually by selling other things. But like I said, I've always loved the Strider shape. And to be able to get that shape, or very close to it because of the Dwyer difference, to be able to get that shape in a, in a Riot or high-end Wee knife price range as opposed to a Strider price range is fantastic. If you've wanted a Strider, Mick Strider, whatever, I don't know the guy. He's got his reputation. I don't care about it. But the knife itself, the shape of it, the design is old school knife collector interesting, and there's a reason for it. It feels and carries and cuts in a very particular way that's basically unique to this design. Anyway, yeah. So my thoughts on this are obvious. I love it. I love that it's simple with the barrel spacers holding. The standoffs are super easy. All of the hardware on all of the knives is well done. I've never had any of the screws even look like they're going to strip, so they're using good hardware. These pocket clips, this is Lynch Northwest. This is MXG. I love Lynch Northwest. I do. But I actually like the MXG clips better on these because, as I said, they're a little less stiff. They've got a little more space on the inside. I don't know. It just makes more sense to me this way. So that's what I would recommend. I'll put a link to both North Mountain Blade and MXG and Lynch in the description when I post this video. In the meantime, if you've wanted a Strider but couldn't afford it, which is a really honest place to be, they are effing expensive, man. They're just too expensive. This is a way to get all of the design, all of the utility, all of the interest in a much more reasonable package. And it's legit. There have been clones of this knife forever, and some of them were actually better, but for the most part, they were junk. You can still go on to Amazon and order knives that look just like a Strider that just aren't. They suck. Don't do that. Do this. Seriously. This is worth your time and worth the investment. It's an excellent, excellent cutting tool. You get little over 4 millimeters of that 3V through the handle. These things are 13 millimeters or about a half an inch, right? For those of you that haven't seen the previous videos, from tip to tail, you're coming in at 8 inches and about a 1/16. Cutting area on this design is 2 3/4 of cutting on little over 3.5 inches of blade. That's on purpose, that's the design. Grip area, you always include the forward choil on these, there's no reason not to, is 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches, so tons of room to move around. The way this is shaped settles into the palm. This is a great knife for cutting this way. The shape of the blade is excellent for draw cuts. The 3V with that hollow grind makes this a really good cutter. I'm not saying that this is not a great cutter. I'm just saying that this is a little better. And so far, at least, it looks like they've done the heat treat on that 3V really well. Let me see if they give a suggestion. Yeah, it's interesting they don't. But I have no complaints. Looks like they're doing the heat treat right. It is a very simple and plain design in the sense that there's no billboarding, right? Even on the plain blades, it just says SLD Magic there, and then Dwyer here. This one says Dwyer there, and then CPM 3V there, although you can't see it in this light. Closed length on the BBNM is 4 3/4. The in-the-pocket profile on these is really nice. The thickest point is right about through here. You're looking at 1.5 inches. With that deep carry clip, the knife basically disappears in the pocket. I will say that with the frag pattern, which is gorgeous to look at, again, it is an aggressive frag. These are very grippy, which is cool when you're using them, but in and out of the pocket, it's a little shreddy, and you don't want to have other stuff in the pocket with this because you're going to tear it up. The carbon fiber and plain tie editions are a lot smoother in the pocket, so make your choices, right? But you just can't go wrong. Let's weigh it. I'm curious. And in fact, I'll weigh it up against the Strider. The BBNM full tie comes in at 144 grams or 5.1 ounces. And at full tie SNG, 5.4 ounces. So this is a little bit lighter. I think the blade stock might be a little thicker on the... Yeah, blade stock's just a little bit thicker on the actual Strider. Look, you do what you want. It's your money. But I think that if you have been waiting for an opportunity to get into this pattern of knife in a legit way, not Amazon junky clones, you're there. These are fantastic. I set out to have one of each of the designs that interest me in their options, and I have it. I'm probably not going to get any more unless if they make an SMF size one of these, I will buy another one. Because that would be awesome. Anyway, thank you for your time. This is the North Mountain Blade Duane Dwyer BBNM in all of its sort of variety. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. There will be links in the description to everything from the pocket clips to the knives themselves if you're interested. I appreciate your time. And remember, Take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and we'll see you next time.